Good afternoon. We're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and today is the Hills of Emyn Muil on Nightmare difficulty. This is a re-record, as in the original playthrough of this quest. I didn't raise threat by enough to start the game, and that would have affected the game pretty dramatically because I would have threaded out at the end. So, we're replaying it with a different deck, this time with the Outlands deck, and it's not a very difficult quest generally, but if you can get location locked and be unable to progress and thread out if you don't have enough willpower to break the location lock. So, we don't find Steward of Gondor in the opening hand, nor with Heed the Dream. But there should be no problem with using Captain's Wisdom here, as this isn't a very threatening encounter deck in terms of enemies it brings. So go ahead and use Captain's Wisdom. And then play most of the hand with the use of good harvests to get out off-sphere guys using Denethor's resources. Still going to be discarding Forlong and 2 Envoys of Pelargir, but no problem. So, just start questing. We got the 1 progress, just need 20 victory points. And I got a choice of which place to move to first. Gonna choose Amon Hen, so I can't play events while that's active. Which means no Wealth of Gondor. But I can play Steward of Gondor. Wealth of Gondor would have enabled me to play Faramir, who could be pretty important in this quest. But oh well. So questing for 12 against 4. I'm going to go ahead and increase threat by 5, not too worried about threat. So, first 5 victory points down. Gonna move to the outer ridge. And there's another Ethir Swordsman, so we're rolling. Could use very good tails here. Heed the Dream first. Do have 2 extra resources. I can play an Ethir Swordsman. I could get that other Ethir Swordsman, but I forgot in this instance about Denethor's ability to transfer a resource to another Gondor hero. And so I grabbed the Knight of the Swan instead of the Ethir Swordsman, but I should have grabbed Ethir Swordsman if I had remembered that ability. And we'll go ahead and play the very good tails. First one wasn't very good. Second one grabs 2 Outlands. So that's better. And we'll just quest. Now that the setup is decent, this quest is going to be a simple matter of just waiting for locations and then clearing them. So you get 10 victory points from the locations that you start the game with in the staging area. And then you have to find an additional 10 from the encounter deck, so it's really just a matter of hanging out, dealing with the occasional enemy, and clearing the locations before you threat out. So that's 2, so we need 8 more. And I'm going to leave that one there. You can find locations quicker if you clear the staging area, because then if you get a treachery, it surges if there are no locations there. So I'll play Forlong, but none of those two cards, neither of those two cards will actually be needed. This is mostly going to be mop-up at this point. And the only real decisions that will happen just determine how fast, like if I make perfect decisions, I could maybe save myself a turn. But it's not really a matter anymore of saving myself from a loss or anything like that, because the setup is good and there's not much threatening that comes out of this encounter deck. So we'll dispatch these enemies. Steward of Gondor is going to be blank while Amon Law is active. Crows goes back into the encounter deck. And there's a Faramir that I can't play unless I transfer a resource from Erestor, and I realize that now, and I'm gonna do that. Doesn't really matter though. Any play at this point is just fine. So, the first treachery will surge. It's doomed to and a location, so that's good. But I have to discard an event to travel there, and I don't currently have one. So it's got to stay in the staging area. There's events, so I could discard one of those to travel there. And once again, I can use Steward of Gondor. And there's another location, so that's good with a victory score of 3. Deals damage to characters that commit to the quest. It would be pretty important to clear that one, but I'm not sure that I'm going to draw another event next round, and I only have 8 cards left in the deck. There wasn't an event coming next round, so I really needed to travel there while I could. So, gotta manage the questing characters here, as each one that commits has to take a damage, but not too big a deal because I have a lot of options. Faramir, of course, is exhausting not committing to the quest. So it's another doomed 2. Clears the location, so that's 15 victory points. Just need one more location. Hopefully 2 more rounds. So there's my final outlands, guys. Well, they could be useful in committing to the quest and taking the damage that's necessary because of the active location. there's really no reason to be this precise. I'm just doing it to create good habits, I guess. So it's going to clear the location. And one more. That's just 4. So there we have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. And that's only worth 2, so it's going to need one more location after that. It's going to surge, and the quest says the first treachery gets a surge. And I interpreted that as meaning it's surge times 2. I'm not 100% sure about that. So the hazards get shuffled back into the deck, but I interpreted the rule as surges and then surges again because of the quest. So I really only needed one surge, but in my interpretation of the rule, I had to take another one. Doesn't do anything though. So once I clear these 2 locations, that will be game. And when it's active, all characters must commit, which is going to be like, I don't know, 70 willpower or something. 50, 60, something like that, I don't know. But anyway, they're all going to commit. If an enemy comes, it would be an undefended attack, but the first treachery surges, and it must increase my threat, or I can't increase threat by 5, so I have to reveal another treachery, and that will end the game at 48 threat, so it actually was kind of close. That is a danger in this quest of threading out with this Outlands deck because I don't have any threat reduction. But 48's not 50, so it's all good. And thank you for watching.